Welcome back to Collin County Life, episode 10. Now we're up to, and we've got some good things to talk about today. So in today's episode, we are again going to bring you some news from Collin County. We're going to talk about the weather, where we have a little bit of a surprise in our weather forecast coming up this week. And I think you have an interview with Lindsay Wood from the Buy Nothing Project. She's an admin here in McKinney for that organization. And then we're going to talk about some things to do this week. So we hope you enjoy the episode.
We're talking about the place where everyone wants to live.
Plano,
Frisco,
Allen,
and McKinney.
This is Collin County Life.
With Brent and Angie.
In Collin County, a couple of things we want to talk about. First of all, did you realize that 3 of the top 5 cities in the country, 3 of the top 5 safest cities in the country are located in Collin County?
I did not realize that.
But we kind of felt it, right? When was the last time you were mugged or something was stolen from you?
I think the last time something was stolen from me was I was in the 7th grade and somebody stole my tennis shoes.
Oh, yeah. Man, you know what? I had someone steal my tennis shoes, too, when I was in the 7th grade.
Really?
Yeah. So
straight up out of my PE locker.
Yeah, mine was from the skating rink. It was weird. But so there's an organization called Smart Asset, and there's a lot of these lists out there on the internet. So if you search safest cities, best places to live, whatever, you're going to see these lists. And they're different. This organization apparently reviewed the top 200 largest cities in the country and evaluated them based on crime rate and some other quality of life metrics, and found that Frisco was number 2.
Okay.
McKinney is number 3.
Okay.
And Plano is number 5.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah. So 3 out of the 5 top safest cities in the U.S. are located right here in Collin County. Another reason why this is one of the best places to live in all of the world.
In all the world. That's right.
The other 2 cities in the top 5 were actually from California. Sunnyvale, California, and can't remember what the other one was, but California cities. So there's some nice places to live in California, too, if you can afford to.
Right.
Good news, too, in Collin County, COVID numbers are staying fairly steady. So if you remember when we started doing this podcast on February 1st, the county had about 4,200 active cases.
Wow. That
Today,
sounds like so many.
I'm sorry?
That sounds like so many, but I guess really in the big scheme of things, it's really not that many.
That's a lot of people if you're having a birthday party.
Yes.
But if you're in a county with 1,100,000 people,
Right.
it's not a lot.
Right.
But we did have 4,200 cases, active cases back in February. As of this week, it's 929.
Wow.
So that's 25%. So that's a 75% reduction from where we were just a couple of months ago. And again, I know it's very easy to get caught up in the negative about COVID and being locked down and all the hopelessness and the mask over your face. But the good news really is that if you get the virus, at least in Collin County, the records show you have a 99% chance of surviving the illness.
And I'll take that.
Yep. But you have a 92% chance of not even getting the virus in Collin County.
Oh, I'll take that one.
Right.
I want that one.
Right. But in case you do get it, and certainly we're seeing, places where now that we're out and about, places where I think have been mask free. I've seen some places. I'm not going to name them because I don't want all the hate going to them on Facebook or whatever. But
we don't have a mask ordinance anymore.
No, we don't. And
so it's okay for them to not require it.
That is true. Each organization has its own right to set its own policies. Some organizations in and around Collin County have still have them, and some do not. Right. So keep your mask ready, but things are starting to improve along those lines. Just an update for everyone who lives in Collin County. There's a lot of elections coming up on May 1st. So these would be our municipal elections. These would be city council, school district bond elections. So if haven't been paying attention, now is the time because early voting starts tomorrow. So you can go early vote in these elections tomorrow. So I certainly know McKinney has a mayoral election, as well as city council candidates, as well as school board. And I think the school district has a bond election.
Yes. We've got a lot going on then.
Yep. So we have a lot going on in McKinney, but I know Plano also has a mayoral election.
Mayoral.
Mayoral. Oh, yeah, well, that's
not
what I was
Oriole.
doing. I was doing the George Bush pronunciation of this. And there's one for Plano, too. So Plano's electing a mayor.
There you go. That's a good way of saying it.
Plano's electing a mayor and some city council, and I think Prosper and Frisco also have some city council positions coming up. So get out and vote because you can't complain about your city's leadership if you don't participate in the process.
That is true.
Some great news. Last week we had a lot of bad news. We had a stolen ambulance. We had, some news about suicides and just nasty stuff. Turning a corner this week, little better news in Frisco, according to the Dallas Morning News. One of our finest Frisco residents, his name was Bernie, or is Bernie Sutter, celebrated his 100th birthday this week. He's a veteran of World War II and D-Day.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, D-Day was in. Well, I'm sorry?
Thank you to him for his service.
Thank you to him for his service, and congratulations on 100 years. They had a parade of cars that came by. He's living in a residential facility.
Okay.
And so they had a parade of cars come by and wish him a happy birthday.
That's awesome.
Approximately 100 vehicles were in that parade. I just hope that I live my life in a way that at some point 100 people would drive by my house waving a flag. I mean, I don't know that I've done that, but that's awesome.
Well, it's a little late for them to just wave a flag at you. Mm-hmm. Because usually that's, you do some kind of service.
How many times do I have to tell you? I served in the military under my father, who was in the military. Okay, so 18 years I spent in the military.
Okay.
I retired when I was 18 years old.
Well, that is you should get some kind of benefits or something for that.
Well, I got the benefit of traveling the world when I was a child. You were talking to me yesterday about blue bonnets.
Yes.
We were driving in the country as we were going out to the Plano/McKinney Arts and Music Festival.
Yes.
Which was held near Oklahoma, north of McKinney. And we were out in the country, and you asked me about blue bonnets. And so I looked that up, and you can actually find some blue bonnets here nearby. Are you aware?
Well, I mentioned some, but I'm curious to see where you found them.
Well, I'm curious to see where you thought you saw them.
Well, I didn't think I saw them. I actually did see them in Plano on Custer Road, right around the Spring Creek area.
Well, you found them because that's where they're located, just north of West Spring Creek Parkway. So that'd be on the west side of 75.
Yes.
Just north of that, there is a bluebonnet trail that runs from east to west across Plano. So if you want to go get your picture taken in a field of bluebonnets, now is the time to do it. And you can do it really close by here in Plano.
And if I recall correctly, it's a bike trail that is actually called Bluebonnet Trail, which must be why they at some point planted bluebonnets there.
Yeah. Now, for me, I've been looking, have you seen the pictures on Facebook of the rattlesnakes in the bluebonnet and the cautionary?
Maybe. I think you showed me one.
Yeah.
I don't see. I live on you're bringing the news down.
I'm sorry.
I live on the happy side.
All right, sorry. All right, well, here's an opportunity to get involved, okay? You know about the McKinney Storybook Ranch.
I do.
I used to call it the Stony Brook Ranch for some reason, but it's the
Same
Storybook.
reason why you can't say mayor or oral.
Exactly. The Storybook Ranch, it's located on Custer Road, just south of Stonebridge Drive, El Dorado Parkway. And they sold that property. So Storybook Ranch used Storybook Ranch used to be a place where you could go and take your kids there. They had pumpkin patch, they'd have hay rides, and I guess there was something going on inside there because they have like a replica old city, old town.
They used to do weddings. I think there used to be horseback riding back there too.
Well, I actually read in the news they actually had Playboy models have taken their pictures there. So maybe it's not always child friendly. But they had so when they built it, they brought in these buildings from other places. So they are authentic old vintage buildings. There's like a fire station, an old jail, a saloon, a hotel, a drugstore, post office, everything you would want in your little small town. So they have it there, and it's built on 80 acres, I think it is. That property sold to a developer to build apartments.
Because we need some more of those.
We need more apartments in McKinney, I guess. I'm not here to speak to private property owners can do what they want to with their property.
Sure.
And so they sold it to the developer. And unless someone does something with the buildings, they're just going to bulldoze those old buildings.
See, it seems to me like, and I don't know how it works, but like there's all the historic homes downtown that you can't touch those. So why can you bulldoze these?
Well, because I think those houses downtown were actually erected there and are part of the history of the place.
Oh, so if you move the history, you can just tear it down.
Yeah, and I haven't been there. I can't attest to the quality of these buildings. But here's the good news. It's an organization called Bethel Village Foundation. Bethel Village Foundation. You can find them at bethelvillagefoundation.org. They are trying to raise funds to relocate these old buildings somewhere else.
Okay. Yes.
And so they have to raise these funds by, I think, June. So if you're interested at all in saving these buildings, and I'll try to throw up some pictures of these in the video for the on the YouTube channel. But if you're interested in saving these buildings, reach out to these folks at Bethel Village Foundation.
Yes, and they're trying to. I did a little research when you shared this with me. So they're trying to save these buildings not only because they appreciate the history of the buildings, but also because they intend to use them for a good cause, which is I'm not exactly sure how they're using it with the good cause, but they're using it to help people learn different skills. And I don't know exactly how.
So I could learn how to be a saloon bartender or a blacksmith.
I get to be the saloon bartender.
Okay.
You can be a blacksmith.
Okay. So what you're saying is they're going to use these, the foundation's going to use these as training facilities.
Correct.
And
that is my understanding. But I bet if you went and looked at the website, it would explain it much better than I just did.
Yep, and we'll put the website in the episode notes. Lastly, are you looking for a summer job, Angie?
No, I'm not.
Well, that is too bad because there are opportunities abound. Throughout Collin County for those people who want seasonal work during the summertime. Case in point, according to the Plano Courier, Plano Parks and Recreation are facing a seasonal staffing crisis.
Really?
Yes. So they need to staff for swimming pools, public pools, summer camps, and other recreational classes that happen throughout the summer. And typically, I would assume that young people, college students, people like that would apply for these jobs. So they are seeing a reduction in the number of people that are applying, and they're fearful they may not be able to open some of these facilities or offer some of these services if people do not fill these jobs. So
disappointing.
Your Collin County weather forecast.
Coming up this week in Collin County, we are going to have maybe a northern spring week. The surprise is that on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, there's going to be frost. Yeah, the temperature gets down to about 36 degrees that night. So get your ice scraper ready because if you're back to commuting to work, you're going to have to go out and scrape a little bit of frost off your window. So throughout the week, the temperature is going to be in the 60s. The sun will be out during the daytime for most of the week, but lows are going to be in the 40s. So still the opportunity to get out there and burn some of that firewood that you have left over.
Yes.
So we're having, so far, I'd say a mild spring.
So far, it's still early.
You'll be interested to know, though, on next Friday, there's a 70% chance of rain.
I'm supposed to be having my garage sale that was canceled
That's right. And why did you cancel this last week?
because it rained all day.
That's right. So in the spring, folks, if you plan something, just remember in spring in Texas, there's always a chance that you're going to have rain. So you might as well just plug right on through.
Well, I'm gonna because I got a garage full of, 4 people's stuff.
Yep. Plus, we put away all of our sweaters this last weekend. So we did that, or this weekend, yesterday. You're going to have to maybe get some of that stuff back out for this last week because it is going to get chilly at night if you go out. You got the opportunity to talk to Lindsay Wood,
Yes.
who is a local admin for one of the Buy Nothing Project Facebook pages here in the area this week. And so tell us a little bit about this interview that we're going to listen to, what we're going to be hearing about.
Okay. So I got the opportunity to join this Facebook group, which honestly, I can't remember how I found it, but it's called the Buy Nothing Project. It is a group that you have to join because you have to live within a certain demographic parameter area, which Lindsay will explain all of that. It's not as hard as I'm right now making it sound.
You're being dramatic.
I know. It's a community group that you share from your excess. You share your blessings. So I had an opportunity, especially throughout this past year, to see some awesome things happen on this Facebook group where people helped other people who had lost jobs and somebody's house burned down, and people just jump in and say, I have this, I have that, and it's all free to, you're just sharing.
It's so awesome.
It's really
So it
pretty
really
awesome
is
work.
better to give than to receive. It really is a good feeling. I mean, you
is.
could sell it, but it's much better just to give it away.
Right, absolutely.
All right, let's hear from Lindsay.
Hi, Lindsay.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. So tell us what brought you to Collin County.
Well, I grew up in Grayson County, so I wasn't far. I went to college in Oklahoma. My now husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, moved to Louisville for a job opportunity, and I kind of followed along after a while, and we knew we wanted to start a family and not raise her or a family in Louisville. So we started looking around Collin County and settled for McKinney. We liked the quaintness of it. It's not as quaint anymore, but
No,
still wonderful. Right. And it was still very centrally located to his work and our family because they still remained in Grayson County and in Durant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how long have you been in McKinney?
Oh, gosh. 9 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So long enough to remember when it was a little smaller.
Yes. Actually, I mean,
see
I
the growth.
remember driving when I was a little girl through McKinney and even Frisco, and there was cows and a gas station.
Right. Yeah.
And now, there's
Yeah.
everything.
So we have you here today because we were going to talk about the Buy Nothing Project.
Yeah, the Buy Nothing Project.
Yeah. So can you tell us what the Buy Nothing Project is?
It started off very small. It's actually global now.
Wow.
It is all about a hyper-local gift economy. So they're all about giving and receiving. There's no ask, too big. There's no give too big. It's all about kind of waste not, want not, It's helping I'm not saying that we're not helping the economy. It kind of keeps people humble a little bit and allows them to give things that may have memories and they want to share that to somebody else instead of just throwing it in the dump. We're helping each other, our neighbors, and that's kind of how they originated. I believe it was in Seattle.
Oh, wow.
I could be wrong, but I think I remember reading it starting in Seattle, and then it just boomed over the last decade, and I kind of just accidentally fell into the position of an admin. I joined the group years ago. It was McKinney Southwest at the time, and it was pretty much a big chunk of McKinney. And we just recently sprouted because our group grew to 2,500 members.
Right. Yes.
So we sprouted, and it's bittersweet.
Wow, 2,500. That's
It's
a lot.
a lot.
That
it's
is a lot.
lot.
Okay.
So the goal is to really get a group everywhere.
Yeah.
And then they get smaller because it's all about creating an environment with your neighbors too. You know,
Yeah.
people that you never thought you'd have a relationship with. You grow some pretty meaningful friendships. I have a lot of people that I had to say goodbye to last week.
Right.
As the admin, and I sprouted my group,
Uh-huh.
and I had to say goodbye to. I'm only at 500, a little under 500 right now. So I said goodbye to a lot of people. But it's beautiful because we get to see other groups thrive, and we're working on an East group right now. I love seeing these groups come about. Alan didn't have any, and they ended up with 3.
Oh, wow.
I helped launch one in Frisco, the Prosper Salina one. Melissa has one, and I am gunning for McKinney to be completely covered so that nobody in McKinney doesn't get to participate.
Right.
You know, so the East group is soon.
Uh-huh.
We're still working on finding some admins for that North group because above 380 needs a group.
Okay.
So if you know anybody that would like to admin, let me know.
Sure about that. If someone wants to join, can you tell us how they would find the correct group?
Absolutely. That's hard. So some people go to the website, which is buynothingproject.org, and they can click find a group, and it gives the map of every group globally. And it tells you the ones that have been archived because maybe they lost an admin and nobody stepped up to the plate, ones that are in development, the ones that are currently existing, and it should have a map that has the boundaries, the borders for that group. For us, like my group is Buy Nothing Project Southwest. We just launched Buy Nothing Project El Dorado. That was a sprouted group from my large group. And then Buy Nothing Project, or
Central, because I'm in
Central.
Central.
Yes, Central.
Yes.
And they've got new boundary lines. So what mine used to be was you had to live in boundaries south of 380, west, I'm sorry, direction challenged, west of 75, north of 121, and east of Custer. So I was a very large area. So once we hit those numbers, and other things go into consideration, not just numbers of people, but, you know, we have to really be all inclusive, and we go off of demographics, you know, financially and everything. We want to make sure that everybody's included and there's a good mix. So we did do a lot of research. It took me 8 months.
Wow.
To sprout my group.
Wow.
I've been developing it for 8 months with the development team.
Okay. Wow.
And then raising up new admins, which I think everybody's in good hands. So you do have to be within the boundaries of that group, which you can find at the website.
Okay.
Of course, if you find the local groups just by going on Facebook and doing a group search, like Buy Nothing Frisco, or Buy Nothing McKinney, or Buy Nothing Allen, different groups will pop up, and you can just click on it, and it will say in their description what boundaries are theirs.
Okay.
So once you request the correct group, which we're hoping everybody's honest, but it's not always that way.
Right.
Then you answer 3 questions. One being, what are your major cross streets? Because we're not asking for addresses. 2 would be, are you in another Buy Nothing group? Because you're only allowed to participate in one.
Right.
Which is the one that you reside in the boundaries of. And then the other one is, are you over 21? I review those, and any other admin would review those for their group, and then they can approve it. We send a welcome message that tells them what we're about and what's expected of them, because that garage sale mentality is really hard to break.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that goes. That's the joining process.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I've done the joining process twice now. So it was pretty simple. I know my address. I know how old I am. So. And I was, it took me a minute to look at the map and figure out where I was sprouted to, but only because I was on a line. And so that's what threw me off. But yeah, so it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Tell us, especially over this past year, what are some great stories that have come, some great sharing stories that have come from the Buy Nothing Project?
Oh, for the past year, well, COVID was major, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it is major. Well, we kind of didn't know what to expect when COVID hit. We follow county guidelines. We follow our mayor, whatever he mandates. We need to follow our state. So at first, we kind of put everything on a pause, and it stunk.
Yeah.
People love the group with the connections, and not just I get free stuff. I mean, they do exist, but it becomes really a family. And it really is, the drama is not there, which is so nice and refreshing for people. Once the Buy Nothing Project gave us the okay, and our mayor and our governor told us what we could do, we opened it back up. We said, all right, guys, we're back up running. It wasn't shut down for long.
No, I don't. As a matter, I don't remember it being shut
See,
down at
most
all.
people
It was
don't.
so quick.
It was very quick, and maybe a couple weeks. I don't even know the exact timeline there, but we opened back up, but we weren't able to do our, like a trunk giving where people just put all their stuff in a trunk and meet in a parking lot, and then we all just kind of walk around and do free gifting and meet and greets. And
That's a thing.
yeah, we haven't been able to do
Okay.
them just because right now it's kind of like participate at your own risk.
Okay.
You know,
right.
COVID is still a thing, and people aren't vaccinated, and some people are, and some people are getting sick, some people aren't. So it's just kind of like, use your best judgment. But my best judgment is to tell people, at first it was, we can't do this because no more than like 10 or 15 people are allowed to meet in a group, stay 6 feet apart, all those things. So we had to take that into consideration and really make sure that everybody was okay and everybody was safe. And then when we opened it back up, we also do pancakes in the park.
I did.
He is
see
no
that.
longer in my group anymore, but we called him Banana Man
Yes,
affectionately.
yes.
He was amazing, and he threw our first pancakes in the park, and it was for everybody to kind of meet. It really wasn't a bring things to give. It was who wants to do coffee, who wants to.
Okay.
And so he would ask, who's got cups? And somebody would volunteer cups. And
Okay.
who's got a coffee pot? And someone would offer the carafe. And I unfortunately missed that one, but he was planning on doing another one right when COVID hit.
Oh.
And so I had to
okay.
put a stop on it.
Yeah.
But it was beautiful to see us open back up and everybody really pull through. The messages I was getting privately, the messages that were put on the wall for everybody, because it's also a gratitude. It's not just get rid of your stuff and get free stuff.
Right. Right.
It was also, building relationships, but also gratitude. You can
Yeah.
ask for gifts of service. You can ask for advice, like gifts of advice, not recommendations. We are not a recommendations page.
Yes.
McKinney actually has a McKinney recommends page. So we do refer, go there and ask for your recommendations, but this isn't the platform. So I would get things like, hey, I was just having a really bad year. I lost someone. I saw wonderful things gifted, things with people were really putting thought. I mean, last year, obviously, everybody was at home and doing home projects and
Right.
cleaning and
purging.
And purging.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So it was nice to see everybody. We had a huge uptick in numbers last year. We had a huge uptick in things that were giving
Yeah.
and not just taking. And everybody was kind of participating. I mean, 2,500 members, that's a lot of things.
That is a lot. Yeah.
I would challenge people. I think the whole month of November, I challenged everybody
You're
to
right.
a
I
give
do
a day.
remember that. Yes.
Or give a month, and then people just took it upon themselves. Well, I'm gonna do a give a day. I'm like, let's do it. I did it. It was nice and cathartic. And of course, that Marie Kondo came out, so everybody was saying, "Does it spark joy? Is this making you happy? No, get rid of it." So it was nice that people were putting stories with it. Hey, my mother-in-law gave me this. She passed 2 years ago. I'd like for somebody to appreciate it instead of just throw it away.
Right.
And you'd be
Yeah.
surprised, things that they wouldn't think normal people, anybody would like.
I gave away a plant that came in a basket when my mother passed away.
Yeah.
But I specifically said I wanted somebody to love it.
Yeah, love it.
And,
Yes.
And several people reached out and said that they would.
Someone
they would
else's
take it.
treasure.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's what we're all
So,
about. It's great.
yeah.
Those are my favorite things. When we shut down for a couple weeks, I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
I don't want
Yeah.
it.
Well, I know that I saw a lot of things where like people were like single moms
Yeah.
and just people.
We've
so
got
many
everybody
people.
from all walks of life in our group.
Just being totally blessed with so many things, to help people.
Yeah. So many people were furloughed and then not able to come back. I was one of those. I was furloughed and then told 6 months later, hey, we can't have you back. We can't afford it.
Oh, wow.
And the group helped tremendously, especially around the holidays, birthdays, and Christmases. And
I mean,
and
there was I even saw food, groceries,
Oh,
all kinds of things
food,
like that.
absolutely. I mean, I don't think we had anybody really take advantage of the situation and the year we had last year. I mean, sure, there's probably a few maybe that slipped through, but it was nice to see everybody's giving spirit in such a weird time.
Right.
And still remains. I mean, it's getting better, I feel like, but it's nice to see that people weren't letting it completely tear them down. Moms that couldn't afford birthday presents for their kids, or
Right.
dads that couldn't afford Christmas for for their kids or their wife, or you know, and they're like, hey, my wife's looking for this, and somebody steps up and is like, I've got one. Brand new moms that, you know, need baby items, and people that wanted to donate to the dog shelter, and we allow it as long as they volunteer to pick it up. And they don't need to mention where they're taking it, because then that kind of becomes a promotion. But you know, it was nice to see like somebody saying, hey, I want to take 30 blankets to this shelter for our dogs, and who can help? And then all of a sudden they ended up with 55 blankets.
Right.
So it's crazy. It's not just personal for people. Sometimes they just want to bless other people.
Yeah. I do recall seeing gifts of service. Gifts of service.
I had a neighbor, elderly. She went on there and asked if anybody could. A windstorm had knocked down a tree onto her fence, and she's like, "I don't have a saw. Does anybody have a saw?" The woman didn't just send the saw; she sent her husband to saw it down.
Oh wow!
So as long as no money's exchanged, it's a gift of self, a gift of service, a gift of advice, and I see a lot of that. I think those are probably the more meaningful ones for me to see.
Right. And you really do, you kind of, even though you've not necessarily met face to face, you really kind of get to know people. So it really is very much a community feeling.
Absolutely. That's why it was so hard to sprout. Yeah. Because you had to say goodbye. It's bittersweet. It's like, I love you. I don't want to see you go, but you have to go. And branch out. And it's great. And you're going to get even closer and have more bonds and more stories, because it's small. It's a smaller community.
Yeah, I've mentioned to several friends, you know, you need to join the Buy Nothing Project. And they're like, what? So
it's like a hidden little gym.
Yes, absolutely it is. Yeah.
But we want everybody to know about it. I think everybody deserves to participate. If they're in boundaries and you have a group, join it. And if not, start one. It's not really too much. I mean, I am a full-time mom. I'm on the PTA board at my daughter's school. I'm creating her yearbook for her entire school. Wow. I have a full-time job. I run a business. I'm a wife. I vacation.
You're busy.
I am busy, and I still make time to do it, because it's not that time-consuming.
Right.
Once you've got your group kind of, you know, in the flow, they really kind of monitor themselves.
Can you tell us one more time where they need to go if they want to find a group?
If you want to find a group, you go to buynothingproject.org and you click menu and you click find a group. Okay. And then it just kind of self-explanatory from there. If you want to start a group, kind of the same thing. Buynothingproject.org, you click menu and you click start a group.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, or just look for us on Facebook.
Well, that too. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, great. Thanks, Lindsay.
Yeah, thank you. I love sharing it, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a cool thing.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
Well, that was an interesting interview. And again, the opportunity to give from your excess instead of trying to. I really like the feeling.
Do you?
I do.
Good.
Well, we've been participating for a while.
Yes.
You're acting like you're surprised that I'm.
Yeah.
You know me. I'm much rather give it away than have a garage.
You no longer say, is there supposed to be somebody getting something off the porch?
Tell us what's coming up, things to do for us here in Collin County.
Okay. So I changed up my strategy a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. So I've broken it down into family fun, adult fun, and a good cause.
That sounds
of
fantastic.
Things to do in our county. So first up, family fun.
Love family fun.
Yes. So if you have small children, young children, if you have a family.
I'm going to pass.
Okay. Me too. I've already done that. In Frisco, every Thursday, that is until May 27th, they have story time on the square front lawn of the Frisco City Hall. And that's at 10 to 10:45. And there's songs and movement and just your typical, the public library does this. I would assume based around a book.
Right.
Okay, so that's in Frisco. And then in Plano, they have the Crayola experience. Everybody knows Crayola is crayons.
Well, I know the smell of Crayolas.
Yeah, that's not the experience they're talking about. So this is I guess it's like a store. I don't know. It's at the shops at Willow Bend. I've never been. I have to confess, I've never been.
Right.
But it is a 60,000 square foot building of attractions, interactive, creative play attractions based around Crayola crayons. They are open Wednesday through Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the kids get to do cool things like they can name and create to their very own crayon.
This is incredible because I'm remembering back to my childhood just trying to talk my mother into buying me a coloring book. And you're talking now about 60,000 square feet of Crayolas.
Yes. All around. You get, hey, speaking of coloring books, you get to star in your own coloring page. So I guess you can create a coloring page that has you in it. All right, Teacher Appreciation Week is coming up. For everybody that's listening that has a teacher in their life or in their children's lives, Teacher Appreciation Week is the week of May 3rd through 7th. And based on that, McKinney, and I'm sure other places, but McKinney right now, at Cadillac Pizza and The Yard, which are 2 restaurants down on the square, they are going to be doing nominations for teachers.
Okay.
So you go to their locations and they'll have posters with QR codes on them. And
Okay.
you can nominate your teacher. And whoever wins the nomination, Cadillac Pizza is going to provide pizza for the year to that teacher. And then The Yard is going to provide a $500 gift card.
Wow.
So the nomination time frame is April 13th through April 30th. And then for adult entertainment, Tups Brewery is having their annual crawfish boil,
Okay.
which is on April 24th. That is here in McKinney. From 12 to 6:30, you have to have tickets because your tickets allow you to choose how many pounds. I've never had crawfish, I must confess. But so apparently you eat crawfish in pounds.
Right.
Okay, so you have to order tickets to tell them how many pounds of crawfish you're going to eat.
That sounds like us when we were trying to buy firewood. It's like how much. So I could just see us going in there and ordering way too much crawfish. But what you do is the technique you do is you tell them how much you want, and if they look at you strange, you're like,
Oh no, I don't want that kind. Am I doing it wrong? My next fun event is not really this week, but it is April 29th, so I figured that was close enough, and it sounded like fun.
It is.
So at the Frisco Star, there's going to be a Dallas Cowboy draft party
Wow.
because draft time's coming up.
That's right.
So it's at the Tostitos Championship Plaza from 6 to 10 p.m. Admission is free. And there's all kinds of stuff. They're going to have the live draft coverage, obviously.
Right.
There's going to be interviews from the war room,
Gotcha.
live music and a DJ,
Wow.
cornhole tournaments, and other stuff.
Cool.
So it sounds like a lot of fun. We might have to check that out.
We're going to definitely check that out.
Fun
all right.
stuff.
So with that, we're going to sign off until next week.
All right.